Hey guys, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about exponential functions. So last class, I compared the difference between a linear function, okay, to an exponential function. And we had compared it with respect to money, okay? So linear functions are usually written in the form y equals mx plus b. And this is review, right? M represents our slope. And B represents our y-intercept. You can also think about this kind of as like your starting point if you're looking at, oopsies, real life examples. All right, so SP for starting point, but whatever your y-intercept is, all right? Again, your slope is your rate of change, okay? And with linear functions, you're adding or subtracting the same value. All right. So we looked at the shape of exponential functions. And if you were to look at an exponential, this is what he looks like. All right. And the general form for him is y equals a times b to the x. So it's called an exponential function, and here's why, because that x is in your exponent, okay, which is weird. And so when you're writing an exponential, a represents your starting point, and B represents your rate of change or your growth. I'm going to call it a multiplier. And the reason I'm going to call it that multiplier is if you think back to that money question where we started with getting 1 cent the first day, 2 cents the second day, what was it, 4 cents, and then 8 cents. We were multiplying by 2, right? And so just like when we were starting with the 100 to get to 200 to get to 300, we were adding to, so on and so forth. So when you have exponentials, you're simply multiplying, okay? And the way you see that is here, okay? So if I were to talk about, let's see, the Avi and Benita's repair shop, the way you would get paid at Benita's is you started at 100. Was it $100? I think so. What did I write? Yeah, we're starting at $100. Oh, why did I write plus 2? This was plus 100. You probably think I'm a crazy person. And then we're adding $100 a day. Okay, so that's where that equation came from, right? So my starting point is my y-intercept, and then there's my slope. So if we're looking at this guy, on day 1, we were starting with 1 cent, and that's my starting point, okay, on day 0, I should say, and then we're doubling that every day. So that's how that function worked. And if I pull up my calculator, I can show you, it's not here, but if I don't have my program pulled up, okay? So because this 2, it's my multiplier and it's positive, if your base is bigger than 1, what that means is that your function is growing. Okay, because what you're doing is you're multiplying by a number bigger than 1. Now, if you made that base smaller, say y is like 1/2 of x or something similar, 1/2 to the x, then that means you're cutting things in half. Okay, so that's why when we're looking between 0 and 1, that would be